Hi, Codecraft community. Josh here again. I'm here to do a quick demo video on a online application called Piskel, and I use this when I teach video game design and characters for the game are needed. It's really cool for students to be able to design their own characters and also learn about the process of animation. So the website here, we've got piskelapp.com. Easy to download, super light as well, totally free, also a bonus. And is a very similar layout to other sort of like photo editing and animating programs. So it's a nice sort of like intro to animation if students haven't had a chance. Easy to get started here. There's kind of the demo of one of the demo figures here. I'll create a sprite with you and show you a few of the features of the program. So we start with an open palette. And it says new Piskel. I always like to save first thing. So on the right-hand side here, there's a save, and you can save locally or you can sign in and save to your account. For right now, I'm just going to call this robot. Okay, and then I will save here. I'll just save in browser. So anything I do now is going to be saved right here. So there's a few drawing tools. We've got the pen tool, which just draws lines. We've got the paint bucket tool, which will fill an empty area. We've got rectangles and circles. I'm going to create a robot using some basic shapes, color it in, and then we'll do a basic animation. So here comes our robot head here and body. Maybe I'll use that the rectangle tool to do that. There's the body. Here's the head. And I might give him a little neck here. There we go. And I'll also make a wheel on the bottom. Now, if you hold shift, just a little tip, you can get a perfect circle. And if I just drag this enough, there we go. Nice. I've got this sort of wheel shape on the bottom. So head, body, wheel shape. Awesome. If you don't like something, you can always press Control Z. I find that's an easier way of doing things than using the eraser tool, though the eraser tool is always an option. I might use the eraser tool just to do that there. All right, let me put my wheel back here, and then we'll get going. Here we go. Awesome. Okay. Next thing you might want to do is add some color, and it's really easy to add colors here. I've got black that I'm working with right now, but if I click on the color, pops up with a color palette, and I can choose some different ones. My robot's going to be gray, I think, so I'll pick a gray from the color scheme here. And instead of coloring in pixel by pixel, I think I will use my paint bucket tool. So there we go, coloring in some of the robots there. It's a little bit hard to see in contrast to the background, so I am just going to add a white color to the background here, and then my robot's a little bit more clear to see. There we go. And last but not least, let's keep that color there and fill. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Control Z, fill in the bottom. Okay. I'm going to add one or two more features here. I feel like a good robot would maybe have some colored lights, and so I'll pick a nice yellow here, maybe a little bit brighter. Yeah, somewhere in there. Just with the pen tool, I might sort of add some dots here. Okay, and then maybe a green button. Oh, maybe green could be good for the eyes. Let's do green for the eyes up here. So there's the robot's eyes. All right, and last but not least, maybe some reds or purples. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, let's do that. So here we go. This robot's got some purple lights happening here just in a random pattern, and the robot's going to roll along, and let's do full here. The robot's going to roll along, and we'll see it sort of moving. So once you've created your basic shape, and you can spend a long time doing that, any colors that you've used will still be on the color palette down here. We can start to animate it, and do that by making different frames. So right now we only have one frame here, kind of like one picture. I like to think of it as like a piece of paper. If we duplicate this frame, we save ourselves a lot of work, because all we need to do is just tweak a little something here and there to make the drawing different. We don't have to redraw the whole thing. So we started with a wheel on the bottom, and I think that might be a good starting off point for some movements. So I'm just going to put some, back on the first frame here, I'm going to put some dots here and here and here, and you'll notice over here it's starting to flash, right? It's starting to flash back and forth. They're not quite even. Let's just even those up a little bit. There we go. And that's because the program's flipping back and forth between frames right now. The first frame, which has the dots and the wheels, and the second frame, which does not yet have dots. If it's going too fast for you right now, that looks a little headache inducing. I can also slow that down. As FPS stands for frames per second. Okay, so my next frame, I have to think if the oh, that's my oven. Don't bother about that. If my wheel is in this position now, where do I want it to be in the next position? And I think that a diagonal position for this would be appropriate. Let's see if that's the right spacing here. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Maybe that's a little bit too far in. Let's maybe do something like this. Does that look better? A lot of experimentation needs to happen with, no, it's a little too far out. A lot of experimentation needs to happen with some of these programs sometimes. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go a little bit more in depth than I had planned to originally here. But let's do this. And you can see there's already the start of some movement happening here, right? Yeah. So once the wheels start to move, we'll duplicate this again. These little dots started in the first position, moved up. I want them to. I want that to happen one more time. So with this one, I will. I'm going to fill in the dots where they would be, and then I'm going to, let's see, sample a color here. Can I sample this gray? I'm going to fill in the ones that I had for before. So each frame is like a 2D object. It doesn't really look like much. There's no movement here, but you can already see on the side here, our wheel is kind of starting to move. Now, I have this backwards from what I thought I wanted, so let's switch this around, and there we go. Now we've got our robot moving forward. This is a very basic introduction to what you can do with Piskel, but as you can see, it's fairly user-friendly. We've got all of our tools on the side, and there's lots of great tutorials on the site. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for joining us, and good luck animating some programs with your students. All right, bye.